Hey y'all, let's see, is anybody out there? Okay, I see people logging in. Nobody's commented yet. Welcome to my election eve forecast. I'm going to walk you through the data so that everybody can stop having a fucking cow. Like, I know you guys are freaking out, which I understand. I understand. Listen, we were all traumatized in 2016. So I understand the anxiety. I understand the nervousness. I understand the paranoia, the bedwetting. I understand it all. So I'm going to walk us through the data. Adding my 2 cents, I'm going to try to answer some of your questions. Lots of people are logging on, so I just want everybody right now, take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. I listened to some Dorinda Clark Cole. Take it all back. We're going to take back what the devil stole. I don't have a bat like Letty from Lovecraft Country, but I was like, let me get my head right. Let me get my mind right. So you guys just, now y'all know I'm usually on 10. I'm not the Zen one. So that should give you an indication of what we're going to walk through today. So if you are nervous, you're in the right place because I'm going to make you feel better. If you are anxious, you're in the right place because I'm going to make you feel better. I hope y'all don't make me feel bad because I ain't got time for the negativity. Okay, I'm trying to get you guys the data that you need so that you can make it through tomorrow without drinking yourself into a drunken stupor. I saw somebody said they're going to take some Xanax. Listen, if that's what you're prescribed, then more power to you. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and get started. So just to give you kind of a preview of what I plan to talk about. Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background. I've been a political junkie for 2 decades. I'm not just a loudmouth black girl on Twitter who stands for Kamala Harris, who will rip a hole in anybody that comes for Kamala. I've actually been an avid political data follower in elections for the past 20 years. Now, I remember 538 before Nate Silver was giving bad takes on Twitter. And he was a data guy. 538 used to be a blog. That's how small it was. That's when I got on to all of this presidential forecasting and things like that. So I'm going to walk through data. There's 538. There are other data things I'm going to walk through. Polling, walk through forecasting, walk through some early vote tweets and tea leaves and things like that. So that we can just get an idea of what's going on. I know everybody says ignore the polls, and I understand the sentiment behind that, but that doesn't really help if people are going to be freaking out. So let's talk about the polls. Let's talk about the forecast. But the most important thing is that, number one, people still need to vote. Okay, the turnout, the early vote turnout, from what I've read today, I think I saw just a couple hours ago, it was 96 million votes. They're projecting now 160 million votes total, which is larger than 2016. So there's a lot of enthusiasm. This race is far from won. So don't take anything I say. Don't take any kind of encouragement and inspiration you get from here to say don't vote. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I just want us to really understand what the stakes are for tomorrow. So I'm going to share my screen. I've never, I logged onto Zoom so that I can share my screen better, more competently, but I have no idea how this is going to look to you. So I'm going to try to sneak a peek and see how the hell it looks. But if you can't see me the whole time, that's fine. You should be able to see what I'm talking about. So let's start here. No, that's not okay. Let me get on the right tab first. Let me get on the right tab. You know what? I should have brought my doggone mouse from downstairs because my little laptop mouse. I love this computer, but this doggone laptop mouse is trash. All right, here we go. I'm at least on the right tab. So let me go ahead and go here. Here we go. First thing I'm going to share. All right, so this is 538. 538 has been doing this stuff. I remember when President Obama was running in 2008, and I wanted to know, everybody thought, ain't no way in hell black man is going to win running for president. We all thought that. Now, I don't know if everybody admits that they thought that, but we did think it. So I've been following 538 for a very long time. I've been a huge fan of what they do. And here's the thing. We need 270 electoral votes to win, right? That is what we need. I'm not going to get into the percentage forecast that he wins. It's very high, but I don't want to get into that because Maya Contreras pointed out before that telling people that there's a 90% chance that such is going to win could be a voter suppression or deterrence. I don't want to do that, but I do want you to understand the data. So I have a lot of confidence in 538 because I've been following them for now. This would be my fourth election. So the way that this little map reads, or is kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. Shoot, they did it interesting. Is it shows that this is the cutoff, right? So this is the bare minimum of what you need in order to win the Electoral College. Now, the darker the blue, that means, look, this is solid blue. Ain't no way in hell that anybody other than Biden is going to win. And these are large margins that are forecasted. So this forecast, like for instance, it's saying that Biden is forecasted to have 61% of the vote versus Trump 38%. DC 91, stand up Chocolate City, Vermont 66, so and so on and so forth. You get the drift, right? So as you can see here, 270, we're comfortably in the 270 range, okay? And if you notice, these states are above and beyond the 270. So this is where we start to get into Electoral College blowout range. We don't have to win these states, but it would be nice to win these states, okay? So just to be clear, all of these states here are states that we won in 2016, okay? Here's where it started to get funky. Now, Michigan came through, acted a plum ass fool in 2016. Hillary lost there. It was close, but Hillary lost. Wisconsin, Hillary lost. Pennsylvania, Hillary lost. As a result, she lost the Electoral College, even though she won the popular vote by over 3 million votes. But here's the good news. The margins that we're seeing in these states that Hillary lost in 2016, she had slimmer margins polling wise going into those states. And on top of all of that, she wasn't polling above 50%. For the most part, we saw 47 or below 48 in 2016, heading into the polling thing. 50% is the magic number that we want to see, because 50% means, I mean, you just need to get more voters than the next person, right? It's a +1. You don't have to get 50%, but if you get a 50% or 50.0001%, that means you're going to win, okay? That means that it doesn't matter about third parties and all this other kind of shit, you're going to win. So what is very encouraging for those of you who are concerned or panicking is that Biden and Harris are well above 50% in several of these key states that Hillary lost that gave the election to Donald Trump. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, the numbers look really, 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 really good. Even in today's polling, the numbers look really, 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 really good. Now, there are other states that we are looking pretty okay in, right? Now, we don't have to win these states. These will be a bonus. Pennsylvania is is on both of these sides because it puts you over the 270, right? Okay, so Nebraska, the second district in Nebraska, they break up the electoral college not by the popular vote winner of the state, but they do it by a congressional district. Arizona, these are slimmer margins. You know, he's forecasting. Now, this forecast is not the same as the polling averages. That's a different number, which I'll look at some of those numbers as well. Florida is always janky. It's always janky. Donald Trump cannot win without Florida. Okay, this is a huge, huge, huge bucket of electoral college votes. We don't need Florida. There's been so much time on Florida. It's great to have. Donald Trump needs Florida. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do not need Florida. It would be great to have it, though. The polling is really, really, really close there. Maine, another place, they do it by congressional district. It's only one electoral college vote. North Carolina. Now, North Carolina is one of those states that really has been a swing state. It's a little more darker purple to the or reddish purple. Obama won North Carolina. Hillary lost by a slim margin. Actually, Mitt Romney, I think, beat so when Obama won North Carolina, it was by less than 1 percentage point. When Hillary beat Mitt Romney, then I believe he won North Carolina by a very slim percentage point as well. And then Hillary, she lost North Carolina, but again, that was by a small percentage point. It was by 3 points. The numbers are looking really good in North Carolina based on the early voting data and in the polls that we've seen. Still going to be a tight race. So some of these states are going to be tight races. All right. They're not going to be 10, 9-point margins. Georgia is another one that's looking really, really, really good. Okay. Again, it's not going to be large margins. It might be a 1 or 2 point race, but guess what? That's all you need. All you need is a little bit extra. Remember, Trump won, I think, Wisconsin by 17,000 votes. It was 77,000 votes in 3 key states that decided the election. So we don't need massive numbers to put us over the top. Ohio, this is red. It's a little bit favorable on the forecast, which again is not the polling average for Obama. But we've seen polling recently. It's really, really close. We've seen polling actually today where Biden is ahead. The same with Texas. It's a very, very close race there. So these are 2 states that have a potential to flip to Biden Harris that are shaded red here. Game over. If Biden Harris win Texas, game over. If Biden Harris win Ohio, game over. If Biden Harris win Florida, okay? There's no path for Trump. Trump has to, everything you see over here, Trump has to hold on to. And then you have the rest of these states, right? So some of these states are not particularly interesting for the presidential race, probably won't flip. However, somebody says Biden got to win Ohio or Florida. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? I literally just said, look at this. Where do you see Ohio and Florida at? It's on the other side of the 270 line. Biden does not have to win Ohio or Florida. Okay? Biden has to win Wisconsin and Michigan. Those are key states. He should win Pennsylvania. There's nothing that indicates that he will not win Pennsylvania by a large margin. Everything indicates that he will win those things. Okay? He does not have to win Ohio. He does not have to win Florida. Trump has to win those states, not Biden. There are a lot of different paths to 270, which I will demonstrate shortly. Okay, now that I've gone that out, tap if you're listening, okay? I'm not making this up. I'm literally showing you guys on the screen. Outside of the presidential race, there's some interesting things happening though. And this is why I have the screen up. So as you guys know, I'm not just talking just to talk. I'm literally showing you guys. This is what the data says. Okay, some interesting things that are happening in Mississippi. Will not go for Biden and Harris. Okay, I can't imagine a scenario where that's the case. However, Mike Espy has a good chance to take that Senate seat. He would be the first Black person to hold statewide elected office. I will get into some Senate stuff. To South Carolina, we got Jamie Harrison. He is close. He's very close there. Texas, I'll get into some of that other stuff later. But you know, there are some key things even outside of the presidential race and the electoral college, wherever those votes go, that there is still a fighting chance in some of these states to pick up a Senate seat. Montana's another one where it's been a little bit close. All right, so now that you guys have seen kind of this visual representation of where the tipping point happens, right? Let's see this look. All right. So this is what it shows. Now, again, this is a forecast. This is what it says here. Shoot, go back. States ordered by how likely they are to deliver decisive vote in electoral college, right? And so what this means is that if you see here, there's a lot more red, blue right here, than there is red, right? So that means that kind of indicates that, well, if Biden picks up these blue states, these are more past to 270. Now, it's not as likely that some of these states, like for instance, Virginia only has a 1.3% chance of being the tipping point, but because it has a 13 electoral college votes, let's say what's his name? Let's say Biden, for instance, loses Wisconsin or something like that, which is part of his main path to 270. Then he can, Virginia potentially could be the one to flip it over. Okay. So that's basically what these numbers indicate is like worst case scenario, these states can be the one to put you over the top. Right. So these are tipping points and they're red because these could be deciding factors. For instance, for Trump, like Trump will not win without Texas or Ohio. Biden can win without Texas or Ohio, right? And so there are a number of ways of reading this, but here's the good news. Pennsylvania is going to be a deciding factor most likely, and he's looking very good in Pennsylvania. It's not like last year. I was in Pennsylvania the day before the election, and I was depressed because I was at the rally and I was like, damn, Hillary about to lose. There was no scientific way of saying that. It was just a gut feeling that I had being in the crowd. I was like, what the fuck? She about to lose. This is really sad. Okay, so anyways. All right. And as you see here, less than 1% chance of being a tipping point. Well, that's because number one, most of these red states are states that are almost guaranteed to go to Trump, but it's not enough. Okay, they're not enough. There's not enough red for him to win. Let's see. I'm not gonna look at that. All right, so Ohio, let's see if they've updated anything today. Because usually I like how they have, all right, good. Here we go. So these are the polling averages. These are more recent polls. Today, the Quinnipiac poll came out today, really good for Biden, +4. It's 47, so not that magic number of 50, but still really good. It has them ahead. 50% in Emerson. This is only a +1. I don't think, like I said, that it's going to be a massive blowout. Roosevelt says, I'm assuming you're referring to Biden. If he loses Iowa, Ohio, he ain't going to win. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, all those states got the same white DNA. No, that's not accurate. Iowa is almost completely white. I think it has like a 2% Black population compared to Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, which have much more significant Black populations. So that's just not accurate. What data are you looking at? I'm trying to figure out, Roosevelt, what website are you looking at? Because you just saying stuff that is just your opinion. That's not database whatsoever. So I don't know where you're getting your information from, but that is not accurate to say that how Iowa and Iowa goes, that's going to be the same outcome as Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. But anyway, okay, moving along. All right, so I'm going to get off here. Let's go to Real Clear Politics. People like to look at some polls. So I'm going to show you guys some polling data. Let's see, I should have had this a little bit better together. Eric Lee says, Iowa's very different from Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Iowa chime me in here. Yeah, I've never, I have heard that talking point, but I don't agree with that. I think people who are saying that are not basing it on data. Okay, anyways, so let's see. Today we had some polling come out. Quinnipiac 50 to 39. Did you guys see that? Okay, so these are really good numbers. Again, you have that magic 50 number, Rasmussen. Now Rasmussen is a Republican pollster, and they're always very favorable to Donald Trump, but even they have Biden up by 1. Some of these polling outfits are not as credible, but just to be clear, these are some really good numbers. You see a lot of over 50s, if not 50, 49, 48. Keep in mind, there are some small third-party votes that are sprinkled in here. This is national numbers. Let's see. What else do we have here? Let me go to, there was another one I wanted to look at, top battlegrounds. All right, so this is recent polling on top battlegrounds. We've been seeing some very close, but with Biden edging ahead of Trump. Now, these are the RCP averages, okay? So that means all of the polls that are combined are the polls in what that RCP uses. Now, RCP doesn't always use the highest quality polls. So there could be some polls that are weighting the averages down, but even still, you have Biden up by 2.7. And I'm sorry, overall across the battlegrounds. This is a narrow definition of what the battlegrounds are. Florida plus 1.7, North Carolina, Trump 0.5. And I've seen, that's a very close race. Like I said, Obama won by I think 0.7% in North Carolina, and that was with record turnout. So we'll see about that. Pennsylvania says Biden plus 2.9. So they have to be using some pretty junk polls, because almost all of the polls that I've seen from Pennsylvania have been with Biden over 50 and about 7 percentage points. So let's see what's pulling that number down. Okay, that's what it is. See this Trafalgar R? So that's a junk poll. So you have some junk polls in here, some kind of Republican commission polls that are trying to, probably, that are probably trying to, commissioned by Republicans who are trying to blow smoke up Trump's ass. Now, I'm not going to say I'm not a poll truther, okay? I'm not a poll truther. I'm not saying polls are wrong just because you don't like the results of the polls. But Pennsylvania is probably a little bit larger than a 2.9% percentage point. Okay, Michigan is 49.8 to 44.7. Okay, so maybe Roosevelt, are you some kind of troll? I'm confused. Anyway, I'm gonna ignore you from now. Let me just go ahead and hide your comments because you're just distracted and I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I don't need to be distracted right now. I'm trying to stick to the data. Okay. Let me see. Michigan plus 5.1, Wisconsin plus 6.6, Arizona 0.5. All right. So the numbers are good here as well. Let's move on to a quote unquote consensus map. This is 270 to win. You can build your own map. Now this one says 183, which would be solid. 39 likely, and then 68 leans, right? So this is what the consensus is. There's also a lot of stuff that's just like 85 that people aren't trying to really say which way it's going to go, right? So here is Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. These are in the 68 bucket. Arizona, Nevada in the 68 bucket. Arizona will be flipping from red to blue this cycle. Mark Kelly looks really good in the Senate there. Nevada, Hillary won that last time. So here are the ones that are really like just super close. Florida, Georgia, which is, we have to admit, that's incredible that Georgia is potentially going to flip. If Georgia and Texas do not go blue, that is not a loss. It shows that it's still trending in the right direction. And, you know, if you make the right investments, you can continue to get closer and closer to making it at least a purple state. But as you can see here, like somebody incorrectly said earlier, you do not need Ohio or Florida or Georgia or Texas in order for Biden to win. That is not what is the core likelihood of Biden-Harris's win. It's nice. That's a blowout, but it's not necessarily it's not the only path. He has tons of paths to victory. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to just put lean. Okay. So I'm going to switch some states out, and I am going to show you kind of what the path looks like, right? So let's put Texas in the blue column. Let's say Texas is in the blue column. And what I'm going to do here, all right, let me put the other one in toss up, right? So if Texas is in the blue column, we can afford to get rid of Pennsylvania. We can afford to lose Pennsylvania. We can afford to lose Wisconsin. We can afford to lose Michigan. So he lost, Hillary Clinton last time lost Michigan, lost Wisconsin, lost Pennsylvania. So Texas gives us all that wiggle room. Okay. We can lose Arizona if we get Texas. All right. Now, if we do not get Texas, okay, then we got to start picking up something from somewhere else. We got to get back some of those red to blue states, some of those purple states that Hillary lost, right? The most logical path back is going to obviously be Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. There we go. We're already back to the Electoral College, right? But let's say we don't pick up Pennsylvania. But let's say we pick up North Carolina. That still gets us to 274, okay? Let's say we don't pick up North Carolina, but let's say we pick up Georgia. Okay, so with Georgia, that still gets us to 270. So we can afford, Georgia gives us the wiggle room to not pick up Pennsylvania, okay? Now, and again, that doesn't include picking up Arizona either, which looks pretty good. Arizona's looking pretty good. I know that there's some polling that shows Iowa as feasible, but I'm not willing to put Iowa in our toolbox. I'm not willing to put that as part of the path. Now, it could be part of the path, but I'm just not willing to put it there, okay? But let's say, you know, we could switch out Let me see. Let me just test this to make sure. Sorry. My little, oh, I hate my little mouse pad. Come on, work with me. Work with me here. All right, so sorry. Child, this thing be worrying me. Okay. So I put Iowa in the blue column, right? Then we could lose Wisconsin. Now, there's a slim chance in hell that we'll win Iowa and not win Wisconsin. But my whole point is there are a lot of different ways, okay, to win without these massive chunks that you get from Pennsylvania, Ohio, or Texas or Florida, okay? I'm going to play around with a little bit more. I'm going to put Iowa back. Okay, come on. What was I doing? All right. All right. So as you guys see, we are looking very, very, very good. Okay. We're looking good. There's really no reason to be super paranoid. Somebody said Obama's live. If you want to go check out Obama, that's fine. But we have a lot of different paths. If we pick up Florida, now let me see. I lost the little thing. Where is it at? Oh, color palette. Okay. I think this is what I need. Okay. So if we pick up Florida, oh shit. Let's put Georgia out. If we pick up Florida, we can lose Pennsylvania, we can lose Ohio, we can lose Michigan if we get Florida. Okay. We don't even have to pick up Arizona. So no matter which way you slice it and dice it, we have so many paths. Florida gives us so many options. Texas gives us even more options. Georgia gives us even more options. But the last thing I'm going to say is, again, let's take out, well, all right. Let me put it back. Nevada, Pennsylvania, Michigan. And then we just got one more on the map. Okay. Wisconsin. Duh. Wisconsin. That's our easiest path. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Nevada, which is not really much of a swing. Okay. Just to wrap this up, I just want to give you guys some people that you might want to consider following. They're doing really great work in terms of covering the early voting and the voting as it's coming in. Elect Project, Michael McDonald has been doing so much work on chronicling the early vote. There's been some incredibly good numbers coming out of here. I'm going to just click on a thread. 97 million people have voted in 2020 already. It's absolutely astronomical numbers here. The early vote, in terms of, I've seen numbers today that, for instance, the Black senior vote in Georgia has surpassed the 2016 total vote. The Asian vote is up across the country. And it's already exceeded its 2016 vote. That's a very key constituency. Shout out to Kamala, her DESI folks and AAPI folks is coming through. And so there's a lot of really, really good information out there. I know that people are trying to say that the Black vote is down or other things. It all depends on how you slice it and dice it. It's not as solid as we would like it to be in Pennsylvania so far, not in Florida so far, but election day is not over. So if you can volunteer, then, you know, try to call Black voters or call voters in Michigan and in Pennsylvania and in Florida. Okay. Michigan and Pennsylvania are more core to our victory than Florida is. Florida is a nice to have. It's not a must have. Florida, Ohio are not must haves for Biden. Period. They're not must-haves unless everything goes wrong on the map. But if we're in a position to where we've lost Michigan and lost Wisconsin and lost Pennsylvania, despite what all the polling has said, then we're probably fucked. But I don't think that's going to happen. Another thing to consider is the way that ballots are counted. Okay. In Pennsylvania, there are already 7 counties that have said they are not going to be counting absentee ballots prior to election day. Okay. So what that means is that we're going to have an incomplete picture on election day of Pennsylvania. There's going to be the early vote that's going to be counted, but not absentee ballots. So there might be a rush, like for instance, when the polls close and if the numbers are favorable to Donald Trump, for Donald Trump to declare a victory in Pennsylvania. I've outlined several ways we win without Pennsylvania. It's a way that we definitely win, but it's not necessarily a deal breaker if we can pick up wins in places that Biden and Harris are very competitive in. Okay, so there's that. There are other places, Wisconsin and Michigan are other places where they don't start counting the absentee ballots until election day. Okay, so there is not going to be, there is a good chance we'll know on election night who wins. I believe that we will. Okay. But if you see some numbers, because it's very heavily influenced by the day of vote, we don't know what the Democratic turnout is going to be on election day, because a lot of Democrats have already turned out in early voting. If the Democrats can still bring out people on election day, then things can be really great in those states, those specific states that do not count the ballots until election day, or in some cases even after the election day. And I'm referring to absentee ballots. So that's something that that I want to point out. There is a lot of data out there. Elect Project again is a source. There are a lot of data out there that the people that have voted are not just people who always vote. I've seen numbers upwards of 26% or something along those lines of people who did not vote in 2016 that have voted in the early vote. So there are a lot of people who can be disaffected voters, disillusioned voters, or new voters that are coming into the fold. These are skewing Democratic voters. Republicans always vote, okay? Republicans always vote. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. What we have to worry about is our voters coming out. But there's a lot of data to indicate that a lot of our voters that don't normally turn out have already turned out. Okay. And so I think that's something to be encouraged by. And again, the demographics have looked really good in terms of people who have turned out, that haven't turned out. And so we are looking at a historic election, a historic turnout. And by all indications, we have every reason to be optimistic. So hopefully I made you guys feel better. I'll answer a few questions and then I'll hop off. Somebody said, love your shirt, Reese. Thank you. This is Black Women Lead from Higher Heights. I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys have been following me for a long time, when Kamala dropped out in the primaries, I said, I'm putting my resources and my platform behind Black Women Lead. And so I have helped, fundraise for them in the past. I've done more fundraising for the Biden-Harris campaign, as well as for individual Senate candidates and things like that. But I'm a huge, huge, huge supporter of Black Women Lead. Tomorrow, you guys can catch me on Roland Martin Unfiltered and Clay Kane Show. And I might be doing a little something with, we might be doing a little something with Higher Heights as well. I have to get confirmation on that, but I will be on Roland Martin Unfiltered from 7 to 8, then Clay Kane from 8 to 9, and then I'll be back on Roland from 10 to midnight. I'm not exactly sure of the format, if it'll just be me the whole time. I know it's going to be a panel, but I don't know if I'm going to be in and out the panel. I don't know, y'all. But just tune in anyway. You don't have to just tune in to MSNBC or CNN. You can come look at Black Media Channel. We got all the same information, because all they're going to be doing on MSNBC and CNN is reporting the same shit we're going to be reporting. Okay. We may not have the Steve Kornacki graphics and the circles and shit he be doing, but yeah, you can still get the information. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? I don't see any questions coming through. So I guess I made you guys feel pretty much better. So that's great. Lots of people saying that they have voted already. My vote has been accepted. I'm super excited about that. Kamala Harris is a star. You can see the purpose in her eyes. Yes, she is. She's amazing. Snow Blob, Show Bob is fierce. Whoever is on Twitter, if you're one of my moderators, please block. I don't like trolls. Let's see. Any other questions? If not, somebody says, love the lipstick. Thank you. The lipstick, do I have it handy? This is Be Rich Collection. My cousin, actually, she makes this lipstick. It's my favorite lipstick in the whole wide world. Black owned, small business, Black entrepreneurship. Support her. Be Rich. I always get compliments on this lipstick. I wear it every time I wear lipstick. These are my Dazzle bands. That's also Black owned. So shout out to Black women businesses. Shout out to small businesses, all that good stuff. Okay. Darian says, are you going to call me to vote? Girl, listen, I'm telling you to vote right now. And you can still register to vote same day in some places. So there you go. If you're not registered and you live in certain states, you can go ahead and register. All right. Thoughts about chance of flipping the Senate? Thank you, hippie. Okay, that is something that I forgot to talk about. So let me share my screen again, just a little bit longer. Let's pull up some data. Listen, the Senate, I believe we will flip the Senate. Let's just be clear about that. But I will say, I go back and forth on how bullish I am about the Senate. Let's see. Let's go here to the Senate. And I'll click on here. Okay. Senate polls. These averages. I really wanted to look at it a different way. Let me see. RCP Senate map, maybe. Okay, here we go. So right now, this is the Senate picture. 45 Democrats safe are not up, 46 Republicans, okay? That they believe are safe or not up. And then there's 9 toss-ups. So let's go here. So Cory Gardner would be a Senate pickup. That's John Hickenlooper. He's looking really good there. That's why they have it leaned dim. Toss-up. McSally, now the polling has been more favorable for John Kelly. So I think they're being conservative, maybe calling that a toss-up. So let's see. Cory Gardner pickup. McSally, that would be a pickup with Mark Kelly. Perdue, okay, I'm going to skip that one. Ernst's going to skip that one. Collins, Collins is looking pretty good for Sarah Gideon. In North Carolina, Cal Cunningham is looking good. So I think I'm pretty confident about 3. Okay, 3 people. So you have, yeah. So Cory Gardner's already included in the 45. So I'm pretty confident about an additional 2. Now, I believe that we're going to do fine in Michigan and Minnesota. So those are, holds. Jamie is a toss-up. It truly is a toss-up. Be defeating, what's his name? Lindsey Graham. Steve Bullock. Steve Bullock, to me, he's a couple percentage points away from Steve Daines. So I'm not bullish on that. Joni Ernst, Teresa Greenfield, I've seen polling that seems to have moved towards Joni Ernst. So not terribly bullish on that, but that's definitely a potential. Let's see, Perdue is John Ossoff. I think that, the polling looks pretty good. It's going to be very close there. Sullivan, you have, I forget the guy who's running against him. Gross. Dan Gross, I think is his name. They're close there. Somebody says, you mean Lady G. I don't misgender people, okay? I don't do that. So I don't call Lindsey Graham Lady G, and I don't do the homophobic stuff. If you are a part of that community and you want to call Lady G, that's your business. I don't tone police other people, but I don't do that. Loeffler, that looks very good for Warnock. The polling for this race and for the for the runoff looks really good for him. Kansas, there's Barbara Bullock, I think is her name. That looks, pretty okay. She might have a chance there. Mississippi, Mike Espy might have a chance there. MJ Heger, not looking as great in Cornyn. She's running a couple points behind where Biden and Harris are. So I'm not bullish on that. Doug Jones, they have it as likely a pickup for the GOP. I'm going to be a little bit more bullish on Doug Jones in Alabama and hope that he picks up, he holds on to his seat. Mitch McConnell, Kentucky, there's no chance in hell that Amy McGrath wins. Tennessee is Marquita Bradshaw. Don't think she's going to win that because there just has been no investment whatsoever in that. So there we go. There we have it. So yeah, I believe that the Democrats will take back the Senate. Oh, let me see. Create your own map. Let me do that. I could have done that instead of just freaking talking this whole time. So I'm going to put Arizona to likely Democrat, Colorado. I think that's fine. Georgia, I'm going to put that leaning. I'm going to put this leaning. North Carolina, I'm going to say likely. South Carolina, I'm going to keep it as toss-up. But I'm going to put leaning just so you can kind of see where we have a potential to pick stuff up in. Alabama, I'm going to say leaning Democrat for that too. I'm going to be bullish. Maine, I think that Sarah Gideon has a better chance than Teresa Greenfield does. Okay. So my map, oh yeah, and Minnesota, Tina Smith, Michigan, Gary Peters, I believe that those will stay Democrat as well. So this is what my Senate map is that it will be 54 Democrats, 44 Republicans. That's what I believe. Now, I think it's possible that, if I wasn't being bullish on Doug Jones, then it'd be 53 to 44. But I feel pretty confident, at least about these other selections, to say we should get to 53. We should get to 53. But if we get Doug Jones, we get Mike Espy. Who else do we have in here? Let's say we get Greenville. I'm not thinking that we're gonna get Bullock, but let's say we get Bullock because they have had a good turnout there. That puts us at 57. Let's say MJ Hager pulls off a miracle, and let's say Dan Gross. No, I think Dan Gross is the guy's already in there. Dan Sullivan. Let's say he gets it. We get to 59. Let's say Barbara, that gets us to 60. That's not going to happen. I'm not predicting that's going to happen. Okay, be clear. That's not my prediction. But I think we're solid. 59, 60 is every single thing goes our way. Every single thing goes our way. No possible change whatsoever. That means every poll breaks our way. And then there we go. But most likely, like I said, I'm not going to be that bullish. Okay. I'm not going to be that bullish. I think more than likely just not being bullish, but just kind of looking at the data. I'm going to put us at, let me change that. 52. 52 is my safe prediction. 52. All right. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. So I'm going to assume that everybody feels better. What else? What else? What else? What else? How many House seats? Okay, I don't know. That's a good question. I think the House looks pretty good, but I mean, we won't lose the House. Okay, that's for sure. Um, anything else? Anything else? Lindsey Graham is a racist, sexist jerk. Absolutely, I agree. Hawaii. All right. A lot of y'all are being bullish. It's funny because I think a lot of people are really bullish on the Senate, but yet people are super paranoid about the Electoral College. How are you bullish on the Senate, but then you think that we're not going to win the presidential election? That don't make sense because these Senate wins mostly run through red states. So just remember that. Now, I'm not saying don't be bullish about the Senate. I'm just saying there's a little bit of a disconnect. Let's see. All right, y'all. Well, listen, I said it earlier, Roland Martin Unfiltered tomorrow, Clay Kane tomorrow, most likely also Higher Heights for a short period of time. Oh, last question. One question, do you think it will be over tomorrow night? Yes, I do. I do think it'll be over. The only reason it might not be over is if we have to, like, let's say things don't break our way in Florida, Texas, or Georgia, then it might not be over tomorrow night because there's going to be a lot of votes that still need to be counted in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Okay. But if we win, like let's say Texas, we don't need to win any of those states. So that's where I think that we will be fine, right? If we get Texas, we don't need to know the results of Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin. Okay. It will be over if we win that. Period. Texas is a big get. We might not win Texas. We might not even know the results of Texas tomorrow night. But if we do, then it will be over tomorrow if Biden Harris win. Okay. So there we have it. There's early voting favor Democrats. I mean, there's some hesitancy for people, the data people to say that. There are a lot of really, really good numbers for Democrats to be optimistic about. There has been polling that says that based on polling, the national polling, Biden and Harris are in the lead. But then you have election day votes where Trump nationally is in the lead. So if we really turned out a good chunk of people who would not normally just vote on election day, then it's awesome. If we only turned out, if we just moved our voters from election day to early voting, then it's harder to tell how great the data is for us. But like I said earlier, there's a lot of good stuff on there about how the youth turnout has increased drastically, not just people who would vote on election day, people who have not voted before in 2016. Lots of great data on Asian voters drastically exceeding their 2016 vote out turnout in key states. Black seniors, same thing. So there's a lot of early voting data that indicates that we are turning out new voters. And so that's a positive. But keep in mind now that the polling that we're seeing now, it includes early votes and it includes a likely election day voters. Okay. So it's not like, we're in the dark about what we expect. So anything else, people? What do you think about Trump's comments about lawyering up tomorrow? There are going to be lawyers on both sides. Okay, there's over 600 lawyers that are going to be on Biden-Harris campaign on the ground. Listen, in order for Trump to steal the election, they're going to have to try to steal millions of votes. Okay, this is not going to be like 2016, in my opinion, where Pennsylvania will be decided by, 50,000 votes or 17,000 votes in Wisconsin. There's going to be larger like vote numbers that we'll see. So I'm not concerned about the lawyers. The court cases have been mostly going our way. I think that it's important, if you have an absentee ballot, to return it, hand return it to your ballot box. Now, you can't turn your ballot into a ballot box tomorrow at midnight. You got to turn it in by the deadline, or return it to your local election boards. Go to vote.org or iwillvote.com to find out where to return your absentee ballot. Do not mail it unless you absolutely have to mail it. Like if, let's say, you're out of the state or whatever the situation may be. Okay, fine. But that's really it. If you are if you're one of my moderators on YouTube, please block Richard Crow. So many absentee ballots have not been returned yet. I know. What are you people waiting on? Why do you request about absentee ballot and don't fucking return? That makes no sense to me. It's so easy to do your absentee ballot. It takes like 5 minutes. Some polls are not even counting Black people. Okay, yes, Black people are not polled very well. Same with Latinx voters. So but we're not going to do the poll truther thing, because honestly, the polls look good. So I don't feel the need to discredit polls when the polls look good. You try to discredit polls when you're down by 10 and it's looking really bad for you. So yeah, I think the main thing really is those absentee ballots. Is there's going to be a war over those. But guess what? You don't know who voted for who until you open up that ballot. So trying to get a ballot thrown out because of a postmark, that could very easily be throwing out Republican votes too. Okay. So, and it used to be actually that Republicans skewed heavily towards absentee ballots. This is kind of new where Democrats are really heavy on absentee ballots. But anyways, all right, y'all, that's it for me. Y'all vote if you haven't voted yet. If you have voted, volunteer, text bank, take some water to the polls, do something constructive. Or if you just want to chill, have self-care, meditate, woosah, whatever the situation may be, then that's great. Do what you gotta do. But don't be scared. Listen, here's the worst case scenario. This is what I've said. Worst case scenario, me not freaking out has saved me a week of not freaking out. Because if Trump wins, if he pulls off a fucking miracle, if they steal this election, if every poll was wrong, it's going to be fucked up, right? So you don't get a cookie because you knew it was going to be fucked up. You just stress yourself out for longer. I'm not going to be stressed out because I don't see any reason to. After I just spent past hours showing y'all, there's no reason to be stressed out at this point, other than, an existential threat to our country, obviously. But like based on the data, I think we're good. So yeah, until otherwise, chill. Woosah, deep breath. Get some wine, get whatever kind of libation you want, and chill out. That's what I'm going to do. So good night, y'all. See y'all tomorrow.